go. Welcome everybody. This is the DVMUG Zoom meeting. It's Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. I have a couple of news items about updates and some videos. A couple of them are real short, and if we don't get to them all, that's fine. We can save them for next week. Why are you not seeing me? Why are you seeing Bruce? That's weird. Okay, well, go forward. Okay, first news article. This happened yesterday. Pretty much everything got updated. iOS 18.5, macOS 15.5, and this article tells from Tidbits tells about all the other things that got updated. Ventura, Sonoma, iPadOS. Strangely, iPhone didn't come up in the list, but if anybody got an iPhone update, I'm curious. I don't have 18 on my phone. And the HomePod and the watch all got updated, and security updates, but there's some feature updates. We're going to have a video about the iOS feature updates. Okay, so the second article is the old stuff got bumped. And I got an update for a few old things. And there's a list in here if you want to get this article. I put the PDF files for the news and the videos are in the chat or on the BBS. So you can download them and read about these. So any questions or comments about all these updates? There's things to do. There's securities and there's a few features. Not a lot, but we're going to see a few in the iOS. Comments, questions? These are the videos. First one is it's only 5 minutes about iOS 18.5, the features, and then there's a couple short ones, 53 seconds and 2 minutes and 2 minutes at the end. Okay, let's go. First video. This is Apple Insider, and we'll go forward with this. Here we go.
Apple just released iOS 18.5. Here are all the new features for your iPhone. Real quick, if you want to keep up to date with all the latest Apple news and reviews, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, iOS 18.5 is now available. You can download it right now for your iPhone. And with it come a number of new bug fixes and features. Let me walk you through them. First, there's a new wallpaper. I know many of you may roll your eyes at the inclusion of a new wallpaper as newsworthy, but my goal is to point out everything that is new. Apple historically releases these Pride wallpapers each spring with the 0.5 updates ahead of Pride Month. This one is for sure one of my favorites. It's called Pride Harmony and shows a series of colorful lines intersecting. Each time your phone goes to sleep, the lines redraw with a new pattern. When not in use, the lines are striped black, making it darker and not so vivid. As you raise your phone, the lines fill themselves in for a nice little animation. Then, as you swipe open to your home screen, you have another cool effect where the lines wiggle and move upward with the screen. I just love Apple's attention to detail here. Even though you can set your own wallpaper, I'm really curious, what's your favorite of all of Apple's stock wallpapers? I think I really like the clownfish, but let me know down below in the comments. By the way, this also coincides with a similar wallpaper for the Apple Watch, and there's even an accompanying Pride band that Apple released that matches the Apple Watch screen, your iPhone screen. It can just tie them all together. It's really cool. The next new feature is for older iPhones. iPhone 13 users now get satellite connectivity. But what we're talking about here specifically is carrier-provided satellite connectivity. For example, T-Mobile allows users to send text messages via Starlink satellites. That will now work for iPhone 13 users. As more cell providers across the world, not just in the US, start offering this satellite service, it will work too. It's pretty cool that Apple was able to just enable this via software. By the way, if you do want to learn more about Starlink on your iPhone and here to see the all-mail category at the top. This was previously kind of hidden off screen. Now it's much easier to tell that there's an additional category option to the side. I've had so many people tell me, oh, I hate the new mail app. I can't just see all my mail. You could, people just didn't know how to access to it, and now Apple has made that better. Also, by tapping the ellipsis, you can toggle profile photos on and off. Off makes it look much more like the older mail app. This was always an option, but it was previously buried in settings and people just weren't aware of it. Again, Apple's kind of making things a little easier to use. For users with children, if you are using screen time, there's a major new feature. Now, whenever a screen time passcode is used on a child's device, you, as the parent, will be notified. Makes sense. It kind of solves the issue of a kid figuring out the screen time passcode to bypass your restrictions. Now, even if they do get the code, you know that they used it. I'm kind of surprised it has taken this long for them to add this. And as a father with a toddler, I am terrified for the challenge of setting up all of these things for my kids' devices. Next, when you make a purchase in the Apple TV app somewhere besides your iPhone, you can now use your iPhone to authenticate the purchase. Anyone with an Apple TV will be familiar with this mechanism, but now it applies to third-party devices too. So if your television has the Apple TV app built in its own operating system, maybe you use it on your PS5, Roku, something like that, now when you buy a movie or a TV show or rent something, just make a purchase, you can authenticate that using your iPhone and Face ID, or even your Apple Watch. Apple Watch actually also got the watchOS 11.5 update, which contains that handy new feature. The last thing kind of user-facing to mention is the Apple Care settings. This was visually updated to look better. Nothing new, no new information, just a better looking settings panel, which I guess is always a good thing. This update comes about 6 weeks after Apple released iOS 18.4, which contained a number of other new features. As you can tell, iOS 18.5 is a smaller update. The 0.5 updates aren't usually massive, as Apple has most of its engineers hard at work on the next major versions of its operating systems. Apple will hold WWDC in June, where we will get our first look at iOS 19, which will contain a massive number of new features. Before iOS 19 drops, though, we will likely get one more major point update to iOS 18. Apple will likely release the first beta of iOS 18.6 within the next few days to even a few weeks. Last year, we didn't get iOS 17.6 until June, though the beta of iOS 16.6 did come out mid-May. My guess is it will be a mid-May beta with basically more bug fixes. Of course, if you want to know all the new features you can expect to see on your iPhone, I hope you follow along and subscribe. Let me know how this update is faring for you down in the comments, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.
Questions, comments?
Boy, that's annoying that his sound is not synced with his lips. I don't know why that throws me off.
Really is not syncing.
I'd like the refresher. How do you get to wallpapers on your iPhone?
It's in settings.
Okay, I looked at settings. I didn't see it in there.
Should
Well, if your
say,
phone is off, you can just put your finger on there and hold it.
On what?
Give me a second. I'm trying to remember how to do that.
where is
If
wallpaper?
when you touch the phone to turn your phone on when it's after it's gone to black, if you
Yeah.
leave it on there, your wallpapers will pop up.
So John, Richard,
Well, my wallpapers
settings,
come up, but not
wallpaper.
the Apple wallpapers. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
If you scroll,
I'm sorry,
but
Richard.
if you scroll all the way to the right, there's a plus. Tap that, and then you'll see the new ones. The featured, the Unity, the
no, I'm not seeing that. I'm not
So
doing
so
something right. I don't
so
know.
so Richard, go to settings, wallpaper. It's like halfway in between at the end. See what you get.
Man.
yeah, it's at the end of the first section.
It's right below standby search Siri standby wallpaper.
It's also in the search box if you just type wallpaper.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
I
Next
have
video.
about the satellite linkage.
Uh-huh.
I'm going into an area where I know that I don't have uh, Wi-Fi or cell phone um, access.
Connection.
Uh, what is satellite linkage? And does the iPhone have it, or is it a carrier thing?
John.
Your phone has to be new enough to do it.
Well, he said 13s, and I was looking at mine while he was doing that, and I don't see it on mine.
I have a
don't think
16 Pro.
I
My
know 13's too old.
my husband got my old one.
Now, isn't it only for emergency? This isn't for emergency when you're lost and you have no other connection to get a hold of anything.
That could be.
Which is where
Right.
it's going to be.
So under emergencies?
I think your carrier also has to support it, doesn't
Okay.
it? Like T-Mobile supports
Yeah, because
it.
he mentioned T-Mobile, but
Yeah, I think
I've
T-Mobile
got
is the
Oh.
main one.
AT&T.
I've got Verizon. I don't see it.
Yeah, I think it's support. You have to get the carrier support and phone support and iOS support.
Yeah, this is not
And
to talk over.
if you want to use it, you should practice before you go. If you
Exactly.
have that feature, you can bring it up and do a demo, and it will walk you through the steps on how to do it and go and aim it at the satellite and find the satellite and stuff without actually sending something. Teach you how to use it before you, or
I think that's what she was trying to do.
right. You don't want to never have used it and then be out and have an emergency and try to figure it out. You want to
That's why I want
practice
to
in
use it
advance.
before I have to have it.
Yes, if you have that feature, practice first, do the demo.
Yeah.
You basically activate the option. You hold your phone up to the sky, and the phone is going to tell you where, in which direction the satellite is going to come your way. You point your phone to in that direction, and you should be able to get a connection.
Okay.
But that just, like John says, there should be some practice before you do this, before you have an emergency.
Do you see it on your phone, Andrea?
No.
If you pull down the control center,
Okay. Okay. Right in there. Okay.
By the way, you do have to be outside to demonstrate it.
but
Ah.
I can at least show you where it is.
Okay.
And then do you see you're in the control center?
am.
And then do you see on the right side there's a little there's a white heart lit up on the right or there's something under it?
White heart.
A little teeny heart.
Oh, yes, I do. I see it.
Go under that heart and click the thing that's under it.
Okay.
And then you should see down at the bottom satellite.
Okay.
And it may say not available.
It says not available.
And then you see a little a caret next to it that you can press.
Uh-huh.
And then that's how you get to the demo.
Try demo. Okay.
And so when you're on your own, you can try the demo and it make.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lynn, Thursday you can show me that because I still don't see it.
Okay, I'll show you Thursday. How about?
I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, let's not forget.
I think
Yeah, I will
there's,
be there to remind you.
Okay, okay.
I'm pretty sure Gary did a video on it when it first came out. If you go to Mac Most and look for iPhone satellite, you'll probably find a little 10-minute video. I think
Okay.
Apple did one too at the
Right.
Apple support website. They did one
Right.
too.
Yeah, they
Or go to
do.
YouTube and search for Apple support. You'll find that channel. Those we show those are usually pretty short, couple of minutes. A satellite one might be longer because it's more involved.
Okay.
But if there's cable, if there's a cell in your area, can you still access satellite?
You don't need to.
I know. I was thinking of playing with it, and
Well, yeah, like you said, it'd be nice to practice before you actually needed it.
Absolutely.
It's like changing tires. You don't want to do it first time out in the snow.
I can go out to my backyard and not get
Yeah,
connectivity.
go outside later and see if you can how you do it.
Yeah.
I think now you can. It's not just for emergencies. I think you can actually send people text messages, short text messages. Before when they first came out of it was only pre-selected short bursts of things like I'm lost or I'm hurt or what's your problem, and then they would respond to you to send an emergency. I think you can actually send text to people.
Hmm.
Okay, anything else about that? New features?
It's good
I
to
don't know if
know.
we got new features, if these features also apply to the iPad. There was an iPad update too, but I think that might have been for older, for 17.
Doris,
Doris has a question. Raise her hand.
Yes.
you need to
Doris.
unmute yourself, Doris.
You're
Press
muted,
press the
Doris. You
space
need to
bar, Doris.
hold the space bar down or unmute yourself. There you
There
go.
you go.
That was a mistake. I was getting rid of a screen.
Okay.
I have a question, but I don't think you're not ready for questions in general.
No, general Q&A will be after the videos.
Yeah,
We'll take questions
after the
about
video.
this particular topic before we move on for each video, and then at the end we'll have general. Okay?
Don,
Jane,
under I just Googled it, and Apple support has about sending messages via satellite on your phone
Yeah,
with
those are good.
emojis, etc. So you can send messages, it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. From Ellen, iPad dock tips for your iPad. Okay, I'll go forward.
The iPad's dock is where your favorite apps can be quickly accessed when you're ready to complete your tasks on your iPad. In this video, I'll show you everything you need to set up the dock the way you want, including how to effectively use it on your iPad. If we haven't met, I'm Ellen from Ellen's Tips for iOS, where I help seniors master their iPhones and iPads. If you find the video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. The dock is the tiny horizontal bar that appears along the bottom of your home screen and is accessible on every screen in landscape or portrait mode. By default, the dock is split into two sections. On the left are the permanent apps. These typically are apps that you use most frequently and that you've added manually. The right side of the dock populates your recently used apps. You can even see your app library. You can control what you see on this side of the dock inside the Settings app. The dock is always present on the home screen. When you open any app, it is hidden. So if I open Safari, you'll see that the dock is hidden here. If I want to bring up the dock while I'm in Safari, I'll just swipe up from the bottom of the screen to access the dock. You don't want to swipe up too far because you'll come into the app switcher or maybe even close the app. So what you want to do is just swipe up from the bottom of the screen until you see the dock. Apple allows for customization of the dock. You can choose what kind of apps appear in your dock and the removal of the app library if you choose. Here's how to do that. So, we've mentioned before that the right side of the dock is reserved for recently used apps, which continually populate as you open new apps on your iPad. If you're not happy with this feature, you can turn it off. So to do that, we're going to locate and open the Settings app. Now we're going to tap on Home Screen and App Library. And now you would toggle off Show Suggested and Recent Apps in the dock. And if you want to remove the app library from the dock as well, you would toggle this switch off. Now I'm going to swipe out of the Settings app, and you'll see that that right side of the dock has been removed. Once you've removed the app library and suggested and recently used apps from the dock, you can put your favorite apps in this area. So we're on the home screen. We can remove apps from the dock or add apps to the dock. So if I push and hold on the screen until the apps begin to jiggle, if I want to remove apps, I can just drag them up and put them on the home screen. Same thing applies when I want to add an app to the dock. I can just drag it down and add it. The dock, depending on what iPad you have, and I believe that the iPad Pro can hold the most number of apps in the dock, and it might be around 16 or 17. And then I think the least amount for like a regular iPad would be about 13. But you can just drag apps into the dock, and once it's filled, it won't allow you to add any more apps to it. And when you're finished adding or removing the apps that you no longer want to see on your dock, just tap anywhere on the empty screen so that the apps stop jiggling, and now the iPad dock is set up the way you want it. If you want to reorganize your dock, it's the same process as I just went over. Push and hold on an empty area of the screen, and then you can position the apps wherever you want them inside the dock so that the dock is completely set up for you. The dock adds to the multitasking power of the iPad, making it convenient to switch between apps and change apps in split view and slide over. When you use slide over on your iPad, you can simply drag an app from the dock onto the screen to open the app as a floating window. So I'll swipe up from the bottom of the screen to access the dock. I'm going to push and hold on my email app and drag it onto the screen and drop it, and you'll see that it becomes a floating window. If I want to close that window, if I come up to the three dots at the top and click on it, you'll see an option to close. I'll tap on that, and that slide over window disappears. To use split view on the iPad, you'll drag an app from the dock to the edge of the screen to split the display and use two apps simultaneously. So for right now, I'm going to swipe up from the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Notes app and drag it over to the very edge of the screen and drop it. So for example, if you're reading an article in Safari and want to take notes on the article, swipe up from the dock, access the Notes app to open the notes in split view. I have a more detailed video on multitasking on the iPad, and I'll put a link in the video description. Now you know how to make the most of the iPad dock, from adding your favorite apps to using it for multitasking. Once you set it up the way you like, you'll find it's a real time saver and makes navigating your iPad much easier. Be sure to check the video description for that link to my more detailed multitasking video if you'd like to explore that next. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Okay, comments, questions? I've never done where you've never noticed when you have a full screen and the dock is missing, and you just move it a little bit, you can bring the dock up. I've never done that. Strangely enough. You got to be real careful when you do it though. Comments, questions? Next video? Going forward. All right, move on, please. Next video. Okay, here we go. How to find saved passwords in the Passwords app on the phone. Okay, this is a real short one from Apple. This is a great feature. I love this now if they have their own password manager. There we go.
Starting in iOS 18, you can manage your passwords and passkeys in the Passwords app. Here's how to use it to find a password or a passkey. You can use Siri to find the password for a specific website or app, or you can find your passwords and passkeys in the Passwords app. To start, open Passwords and unlock with Face ID, Touch ID, or your passcode. Tap Search and enter the website or app you want to find the password or passkey for. This searches your passwords and passkeys, including those in shared groups. When the account you're searching for appears, tap it to show the saved details. To show a password, just tap it. You can also copy the password if you want to use it somewhere else. Your passwords and passkeys, easy to find.
Pretty simple. And also, same app is now on Mac OS. So it works great. And if you use Chrome or Firefox, Apple has an extension for those browsers that will fill them out there, and you can share them across all three browsers, and they're make new ones or whatever and edit them. They're saved and they go to your phone. It all works great.
Also iPad OS.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So everybody should have no excuse to use a password manager anymore. It also has feature to look up your reused passwords. If you're using more than one place, it'll warn you. Or if those passwords have been breached somewhere to the public and posted on a website and reused and stolen, they'll tell you those if they should be changed, and if they're for important sites like your bank or somewhere that does money or your email or Google or something, you definitely need to have those be individual passwords, not shared anywhere else, and safe. A lot of people use the same password. A lot of places, not a good idea, but if it's not an important site and there's a lot of them, it's, maybe not worth trying to fix. So long as they can't do any harm if they get in. Comments, questions? You can also import, if you're used to using any other password manager, LastPass, 1Password, Bitwarden, any of those other ones, Firefox, you've been storing them in Firefox or Chrome, which can sort, you can export those out as a CSV file. It's just a text file, and you can import them into passwords, and it brings in the notes and everything. And if there's duplicates, it says they're duplicates, and it tells you it won't bring those in. So I've done that.
I've found some apps, like when I'm dealing with the library, where they want the same password or passcode for multiple apps that they use.
Yeah, that's true.
And so then it gets tagged all the time. And one of the big offenders of that is the Contra Costa library system, which has locked you to a 6-digit password.
Yeah. Sometimes sites have multiple ways to get into them, and they need to be saved in multiple places.
But the multiple ways are all using the same password.
Yes.
The same. And anyway, that's our local library system here. It's just a beef of mine.
Bruce.
On the local library, I thought I was using my date of birth as a password.
They changed it recently.
Month, day, and year.
Yeah.
They automatically change that for everyone. And if you haven't gone in and come up with a new 6-digit number, and other people can get your birth date, they can
But I
get
think-
into the
I-
various.
I think they make that the default, but then you can change it.
Yeah, and people should.
Okay, Bruce, you got your hand up? Bruce, your hand up by mistake? I don't know. You got a question? Is Bruce frozen? Bruce, are you there? You got your hand up?
Mike, you had your hands up?
No, Bruce does.
Dickerson? I do.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
but he did too. And anyway, the only exception to Apple password manager is they use hyphens. And yesterday or a couple of days ago, I had to, and this is my retirement system, that was someplace. They wanted me to log in. Changes took place. They wanted me to log in. All of a sudden, they're saying no certain special characters. So I had to go and pull out the some special characters, and everything worked. And it kept that password. But outside of that,
passwords when you first create a new one usually has an option to choose one without special characters.
well, yes, it does. And I wasn't aware of that till I put that password in there, and it came back saying you can't you got to have what did he say? 12 characters, no this, that, and the other. But anyway, so different. Everything else uses the same character. So I mean, special characters.
Okay. Anything more about passwords, or we move on? Going forward. This is for very basic stuff. Learn the Mac Finder in 5 minutes. Actually, 5 minutes and 42 seconds. There we go.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you how to use the Finder on your Mac. So the Finder is the tool on your Mac that lets you work with your files. The primary interface for working with the Finder is the Finder window. If you don't already have one open, clicking on the Finder on the left side of the dock will open a Finder window. Or if you switch to the Finder, you go to File and then New Finder Window. A Finder window shows you the contents of a folder on your drive. You can see the name of the folder up here at the top. In the main area of the window, you'll see the contents of that folder. There are actually 4 different ways to view the contents of a folder. The first is the icon view. Then there's list view, where it shows everything in a list. Column view is also in a list, but as you select an item, the contents of that folder appears in another column. And there's also gallery view, which is great for viewing a folder filled with images. I recommend using either list view or column view most of the time. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. You can dive down into a folder by double-clicking on the folder or the name. I'd go back up by command-clicking here and going back up a level, or using Go and then in closing folder. The keyboard shortcut is simply Command and up arrow. I can also use the reveal triangle to the left of the folder to open the folder up and see the contents of the folder in the same list. I can even go further down into other folders as well. In column view, I will see the list of folders. I will be able to click on an individual folder and then see the contents in a new column. And I can click on a folder in there to open up yet another column with the contents there. Now, the main thing you may want to do with a file is to open it. Just double click the file and it will open it in the default app for that file type. Renaming a file can be done by selecting it and going to File and then Rename. But most people instead will just select the file and then press the Return key to enter rename mode. To move a file, if you could see the destination for the file, you can simply drag and drop like that. If you can't see the location, you could always open up a second Finder window. Just go to File and then New Finder window. And in this Finder window, go to that second location. So I'll go here into this folder, for instance. Then you can drag and drop a file from one Finder window to another to move it. If you want to move multiple files or delete multiple files at the same time, you can select multiples by selecting the first file, then holding the Command key down and selecting Other Files. If you want to select Arrange instead, select the first file, hold the Shift key down, and select the last one in the range, and it will select all of those in between. Then you could drag all of them together to move them or move them to the trash. If you want to create a new folder, first make sure you're in the location you want. If I want to create the new folder inside Current Stuff, I would go down to that folder. Then you go to File and New Folder or Shift Command N. You will create a new folder and select the name so it's ready for you to rename it to something else. To delete a file, you can either drag it to the trash on the right side of the dock and drop it in there, or with it selected, you can go to File and then Move to Trash or Command and the Delete key on your keyboard. You can click on the trash here, and here you can click the Empty button to empty it. But what most people should use today is under Finder, Settings, go to Advanced, and set the trash to remove items from the trash after 30 days. So it just becomes a safety net, a temporary holding place for a file that's automatically deleted 30 days later, and you never have to worry about emptying the trash. If you want to preview the contents of a file before opening it, you can select the file and then press the space bar to open up a quick look window to show you the contents. You can also go to View and then select Show Preview, and this opens up a right sidebar with a little preview for whatever file is selected. When you're in List View, it's easy to sort the files that you see. The sort order is whatever column is bolded, in this case, Name. You can reverse the order by clicking on the little up or down arrow to the right of that. The left sidebar is simply a convenient way to access locations on your drive. You can customize what's there by going to Finder Settings and then going to Sidebar. You can also add your own folders to the Favorite section. Now, to get to that folder quickly, you can easily select it. Also, you can drag and drop files to that location using the left sidebar as well. If you want to search for a file, first make sure you're at the folder where you want to start the search. Then click the little magnifying glass here or use Command F and type the search term. Then pay attention to what's under here. You can search for Name Contains or the content of the file contains. The Finder is a very powerful tool for working with your files. I've only scratched the surface here showing you the basics. There's a lot more you can do with it once you master that. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
Okay. All very basic stuff. Everybody should be in command of that, so know how to do those things. I find a lot of people don't know much, a lot of that stuff, even where they're, very basics. Most of that stuff's been the same for, 20 years.
I actually learned something. I learned something about the Finder when you select a file and you want, or a folder, and you want to change the name. Hitting Return selects it very quickly.
I learned that from Gary at one of the videos we did many years ago. I never knew that. It's very handy.
It is. It's tricky to get it to show up without,
You got to get used to it, but you just select it and wait a second, and it becomes fully highlighted, and you start taking. So you don't have to take your hands off the keyboard. It's very handy.
Very handy.
Well, that was a good review.
Or you can actually have the name somewhere else and copy it and press on it. It becomes highlighted, and you paste the name in. You don't have to do any typing.
Mm-hmm.
It helps to name your files.
Jan's got a question.
Go ahead,
Oh, you
Jan.
could finish. Well, it wasn't a question, but a tip that lately is my most efficient way to move a file. Let's say I have a long list, it's longer than the screen, and dragging it up and down I'd probably drop it in the wrong folder or something. So I change the first letter of the file name and zip, it goes right up next to the folder I want it in. It seems the fastest way to me to do that rather than open two windows to drag it from one window to the other.
Huh.
Whatever works for you.
The alternative, you can just copy and paste where you want it.
They didn't mention that. That has not
That would be better.
That has not always been a Mac feature. That was a Windows feature going way back, and they made it a Mac feature. Copied that feature.
You mean you could do Command X, cut
Select
and
the
paste?
file, select the file,
Well,
Command C to copy it, go to the location
Right.
that you want it to be, and do Command B and paste the file in.
But then you have to remember to delete the other one.
right. You don't ever want to do Command X because if something happens in the process of transferring,
Yeah, that's true.
but so you want to copy it, but then you got to go back and delete the duplicate. Yeah, well, take my word for it. You don't ever want to cut and paste.
Okay. Next, ready? We'll go for another one. How to use Apple Invites. This is a new thing that Apple came out with. And I tried to use it to send invites to the board dinner. I couldn't get it to work. I gave up and sent it with the evite.com like I used to. I don't know what was wrong. I couldn't. You can either use it on the phone or on the Apple website, but there's no Apple Invites app on the Mac yet.
It's in iCloud.com.
Right, you can do it there. That's what I tried. I couldn't get it to work on the phone. I tried the website. I got there, got mostly done, but I couldn't add people and I couldn't send it. I couldn't figure it out. Here we go.
With Apple Invites, you can create and send event invitations on any device using iCloud.com or directly in the Apple Invites app. And anyone can join, whether they have an Apple device or not. We'll show you how to create an event using the Apple Invites app, how to accept an invitation in the app, and how to accept an invitation using an Android device or any other device. Before you start, if you want to use the Apple Invites app, make sure you're updated to iOS 18 or later in order to download it from the App Store. You'll also need an iCloud Plus subscription to create and send invitations. Let's start by creating an event. You can create an event on any device at iCloud.com or directly in the Apple Invites app, which is what we're using. To start, you can either tap the Add button in the upper right corner of the screen, or tap Create Event if you don't have any upcoming events. Then tap Add Background to get started. To add a background, you can use one of your photos, the camera, or Image Playground with Apple Intelligence on supported devices. You can also select from one of the pre-existing ones. We're going to use a photographic background. Next, tap Event Title. Name your event. And select the font you'd like to use. Tap Return on the keyboard when you're done. Now tap Date and Time. Select the date and time of your event, and tap anywhere outside of the calendar to close it. Then tap Done when you're finished. To add the location of your event, tap Location. And either enter a new location or select your current one. You can also give your location a custom name. Tap Done when you're finished. To share some details about your event, tap Add a Description. and enter a description. When you're finished, tap Done. After you've added the date, time, and location, a weather forecast and directions to the event will be displayed in the invitation. Now, let's create a shared album so everyone using iCloud who joins this event can exchange photos and videos. Tap Create Album and give it a name, or use the default one, which is the name you created for the event. Then tap Done, and everyone going to your event will automatically have access to the shared album. You can also create a playlist that guests with an Apple Music subscription can collaborate on, so everyone can enjoy their favorite songs at your event. Tap Add Playlist, and you can choose an existing playlist or create a unique one for your event, which is what we're going to do. Tap New Playlist, and enter a name or use the default one. Then tap Done, and everyone going to your event will automatically have access to the playlist. When you're ready, tap Preview to get a preview of your event invitation. You can tap the back arrow if you want to make any changes before sending it, or tap Next if you're ready to invite your guests. You can curate a specific guest list by tapping Choose a Guest to create a unique link that can only be opened by people you invite. Or you can use a public link, which makes it easy to invite groups of people. You can use Messages, Mail, share the link in your favorite apps, or copy the link so you can paste it anywhere you'd like. And if you turn on Approve Guests, you'll have more control over who's able to accept your invitation. We're going to invite our friends using Messages. Tap Messages. Choose your guests. And tap Send to send your invitation. Now, it's time to start planning the outfit you're going to wear. You can accept an invitation using any device on the Apple Invites webpage. But if you've downloaded the Apple Invites app, you can accept an invitation directly in the app on your iPhone. When the notification appears, tap it. And then tap the link. It will open automatically in Apple Invites. Tap View Invitation. And select your reply. We're definitely going to this party. You can add a custom message for the event host and tap Send Reply to send your response. Looking forward to it! If you have an Android device or any other device, you can accept an invitation in Apple Invites using a web browser without needing an iCloud Plus subscription or an Apple account. When the invitation appears, just click or tap the link to get started. Then, you'll be directed to the Apple Invites webpage. Tap View Invitation and enter your email address. If it's associated with an Apple account, you'll be taken to a sign-in screen where you can follow the prompts to sign in. If you don't remember the password for your Apple account, just follow the prompts to retrieve it. If your email address is not associated with an Apple account, a verification code will be sent to the email you provided. Tap the arrow next to your email address when you're ready. Enter the verification code that was sent to you. Scroll down and select your response. Then, enter your name, which will be displayed on the guest list. Click or tap Submit to send your response. And get ready to have some fun. Now you know how to get started with Apple Invites on any device. It's party time.
All right. Anybody try this? I couldn't get it to work when it first came out.
John, do you have an iCloud Plus account?
I tried the DVMUG. I tried many different ways, different devices.
Oh.
the web browser on iCloud, I was able to do I was able to go everywhere except invite people, and it wouldn't let me invite people. I don't know what, maybe it was a bug. I don't know. I gave up.
Yeah,
Did you, sorry, just wondering, did you text people or it said email? What were the other options of sending out the invite?
It gave you a choice. You can email them, you can text them, you can.
What did you do? Which one did you
I
get
was
that far?
never, I
You
was
didn't get
never
it.
able to actually enter anybody into the invite. It
Yeah.
didn't work. I don't know why. I gave up.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like, if it took Android, it doesn't look like you could set a time when it would be delivered, like you can to people using iPhones, right? Send later.
Well, you can't create an event from an Android. You have to create an event from an Apple device that has iCloud Plus.
It says though you can go to people with Androids.
You can send an invite to anybody, but you can only create an invite from an Apple paid Apple ID, an Apple iCloud Plus account.
Yeah.
But you can invite from there, you can invite Android people or copy a link and email a link to anybody, and they can reply via a web browser. But you can't create an event from Android. I guess you could if you had an Apple ID, Apple iCloud Plus account and went to iCloud.com on the
That's
Android,
how I
on
did
the
it.
iCloud, you could do it that way.
I did it that way successfully using a browser on a non-Apple device, logged into my iCloud account from
That's what I tried to do,
Firefox
yeah.
in Linux. It worked.
Yeah, I should try it again. It was brand new when it first came
Yeah.
out.
Make sure you're logged into your iCloud Plus account from a web browser.
Yeah, they did. The lady narrating that one did say Apple required an iCloud Plus account.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
You got to have a Plus account. You got to have you got to be paying for iCloud Plus. You just have a non-paid, 5 gig account. You can't do it.
Nope.
Mike, sir, a question.
Yeah, I was wondering about that iCloud Plus account. How do you know if you have one? And is it just by signing up for more memory do you get one? Because I'm looking on my
Right, automatic. You get
in my settings.
standard Apple iCloud account. You set up for free. You get 5 gigs of space. As soon as you need more space, you have to pay, and that automatically. That's an iCloud Plus account. You get extra.
Okay,
stuff.
that's what I was just wanting to confirm because I looked on the page here and it says manage plan 200 gigabytes. So it seems like I've got it. So I was just checking.
Yeah, as soon as you pay anything, 99 cents a month, you get the Plus and you get other features.
Okay.
All I pay is for the 99 cents, and I have it.
99 cents.
That's iCloud Plus.
For 50 gig. Almost, you can't hardly use iCloud with a 5 gig account if you back up your phone and try to sync anything. You run out of space very fast.
If you go into settings for iCloud, at the top it will say iCloud Plus.
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
Yeah. I can't remember. There's other things you get, other features besides space. Can't remember what they are.
Hide my mail.
Yeah, there's some other features you get. Yeah. But mainly it's mainly about the space. I don't know why Apple just doesn't bump everybody up to 50 gigs. What's 99 cents a month? Okay. Comments, questions? Sounds like a cool. So I would, when you were using evite.com, it does a similar kind of thing. Okay, here we go. Next video. It's an Apple short one, the Apple Support app for iPhone.
From getting quick answers to learning about a new feature, the Apple Support app is like having a personal guide to help you with all your Apple products and services. The Apple Support app is free in the App Store, and it uses your Apple account, so it's automatically personalized for you. It's a convenient place to ask questions, quickly find solutions, locate service and repair providers, and so much more. Have questions about your iPhone, AirPods, Apple Watch, or any of your other devices? It's easy to focus on support topics that relate to your device. Support tools can help you with common tasks like viewing your subscriptions or changing your Apple account password. You can even get help and information for the Apple services you use. For example, you can find out how to set up iCloud Plus and where to manage your storage. You can also use the navigation tabs to search for service locations, keep track of upcoming reservations, and view recent support calls and chats. In the Videos tab, you can choose from a vast library of content about your devices, apps, your Apple account, and more. You can spend time getting to know topics like using photos, cleaning your AirPods, or learning new tips to get the most out of your devices. When you need more information, the Apple Support app has tools to help you troubleshoot issues and find solutions. You can get quick answers to your most important questions. Just tell us what's happening. Then, select your device. Depending on your issue, you'll find steps, videos, articles, and more. If you want to learn more about a device or service, just tap it. You can get information by browsing support topics that relate to your device, and even check its performance by running diagnostics. Let's find out how our battery is doing. Running a check is as easy as pressing a button. And you'll get results that can help you to better understand what's going on with your device. Download the Apple Support app from the App Store today to have solutions, tools, and information right at your fingertips. Apple Care Plus and certain app features are not available in all countries and regions.
Alrighty then. That's how you make an appointment for the Apple Store for a Genius Bar. They know what device you have, you're logged in, make the appointment, they give you the times and such, and deal with it through there. I didn't realize there was all that other stuff in there. I'm surprised it doesn't come on the phone. You have to go download it. Comments, questions? People have this app on their phone. You should get it. If you don't have it, go to the App Store and get it. Okay, so we move on. No questions? Okay, here we go. This is also another short one from Apple. I'll go forward.
Safari automatically saves your browsing history, cache, and cookies, unless you're using private browsing. You can delete this data anytime, which logs you out of websites, but doesn't change your autofill information. We'll show you how to delete the history, cache, and cookies, how to clear the cookies and cache but keep your history, and how to delete a website from your history. First, let's delete the history, cache, and cookies. In Settings, scroll to the bottom of the screen and tap Apps. Then you can scroll down to Safari or tap the search bar and search for it. Tap Safari and the results. Scroll down again and tap Clear History and Website Data. Here, you can select a time frame from the last hour, today and yesterday, or all history. If you have profiles set up, you can clear the history for all your profiles, or a single profile like Personal. You can also choose to close all tabs that aren't in a tab group. When you're ready, tap Clear History. And that's it. Next, let's clear the cookies and cache, but keep your history. This could be useful if a website isn't loading or you're having trouble logging in. In your Safari settings, scroll to the bottom and tap Advanced. Tap Website Data. Then tap Remove All Website Data at the bottom of the screen. If this option is gray and unavailable, there's no website data to clear. Tap Remove Now to confirm. You can also delete specific websites from your history. In Safari, tap the Show Bookmarks button at the bottom of the screen. Then tap the History button to display your history. Tap Edit, and then you can select individual websites to remove. When you're ready, tap Delete. And that's it. Now you know how to clear your history, cache, and cookies in Safari.
Comments, questions? Everybody's muted. If you want to speak up.
Good review. Good.
Oops, I just logged myself. Okay, we'll move on. Nothing. Okay, next. That's the end. Okay, so any discussion about any of the things that we showed in the videos relevant, or else we'll move on to general Q&A and start a new video recording. Okay, hearing none. Anybody that's watching this on YouTube that are DVMUG members, you can get the next recording of the Q&A session with a link on the BBS. And I will now stop the recording if I can find out where it is.